Hey, everybody, and welcome to Evolution of a Podcast.
What's up, everybody?
My name is Rich, and that guy that talks when I don't talk, his name is Will. Right, Will?
Yeah, yep. How you guys doing?
You know, it's episode number 11, Will.
11, man.
Hey, check. What are we talking about today?
I don't really know what we're talking this time.
You don't? You just showed up, and you have no idea what we're talking about.
I think we're still doing the Beastie Boys.
Oh, yeah, you do know what we're talking about. Good.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's right. We're talking about the Beastie Boys today. They are the first subjects of our new segment, our influencers segment. A little history on the Beastie Boys today, so that should be fun, right?
Yo, yeah, man, I'm ready to get into this after doing a lot of research. I have a newfound respect for these guys.
Now, we're talking influencers. We're not talking Jake Paul. That's what the kids call influencers today. These kids on YouTube, these Instagram models, these are influencers. Yeah. What are they influencing, dude?
My anger towards the choices I've made in life.
But I mean, what are these people really influencing you to do? Basically, just spend more time on social media. Just wasting time.
It's a cash grab. It's wherever the people's attention is the most, that's where they want the advertisements.
But today we're talking about old school influencers, people that would inspire and change a generation. These are the type of influencers that we are talking about today. Let's get into a little history of the Beastie Boys. Remember, we are not Beastie Boys experts.
Oh, not at all.
So, Will, in 1978, they actually were a punk band. It was Mike D, a girl, Kate Schellenbeck, Jeremy Chiton. They played a punk band in their high school, and they weren't very good. They were just jamming on instruments, just fucking around. They were called the Young Aborigines, and it wasn't until 1981 that they formed the Beastie Boys when the Young Aborigines bassist Jeremy Chiton left, and that's when Adam Yauch joined. And then later, Adam Horovitz joined the Beastie Boys after a couple other people dropped out. And so now you got these guys, and they're kind of like playing punk, you know. They get really into hip-hop. Dude, in 1980, there was this invention of this machine called the Roland TR-808.
Yeah.
Drum machine.
Still a big one.
This fucking revolutionized music. All the hip-hop artists were using it. And there, in 1982, there wasn't that many rappers.
It's something that is not only novelty, it is something that like people I know own this thing and they still use it.
Dude, it is still being used today in some of like the number one songs on the Billboard charts.
Absolutely.
That being said, I'm just now hearing about this machine at 40.
Yeah.
And I would like to go back in time and give this to 12-year-old me. Dude, my life would be totally different if I had this machine. I did not know I needed this machine until I was 40. But I need to go back and give it to 12-year-old me and rock the fucking house, dude. With the hype of this 808 machine, you know, everyone's using it at this time. You know, like Africa Bambaataa.
Oh, yeah.
Run DMC.
Yep.
And then it started sneaking into like R&B music and everything like that. So the Beastie Boys were really inspired by this music that was getting pumped out more than the punk music that they were playing. So they started experimenting into hip hop a little. So for these three white boys from Manhattan to even be inspired by this type of music, it was different for them to be even rapping and, you know, living the culture. And to even blow up as big as they were, you know what I mean? They became the inspiration in the rap industry.
Oh, totally. It was similar to the Apollo. How, you know, if people don't find you funny, you're going to know. You know, it's really hard to break through to the Apollo. It's like that. The equivalent was these guys coming into hip-hop and being accepted. Everyone thought at first that they were a gimmick.
Totally.
Yeah.
It all started with a track called Cookie Puss. Dude, you know what Cookie Puss is? You're from the East Coast. You know what Cookie Puss is? You know what Carvel ice cream store is?
That was not something that was a thing, at least that I was familiar with.
It was ice cream cake, and it was called Cookie Puss, and it was half cookie, half ice cream cake, and it was delicious. So their song, Cookie Puss, in 1983, they released it, and it kind of hit big in the clubs. dude, of New York City. And these 16-year-olds became like hip hop's newest thing. To perform the song live, they needed a DJ. And so they hired this New York University student named Rick Rubin. Come perform with us and be our DJ and stuff because we need someone to scratch the records and, make us sound cool. We're just this punk band. We've never done hip hop live before.
Which is incredible knowing Rick Rubin today,
Dude, if you're listening out there, you need to go onto YouTube and look up Cookie Puss live performance because you literally see Mike D holding a piece of paper up singing, hip hop, you just don't stop. Go to the beat don't drop. It's so it's so bad.
Yeah, you did pretty well there. I think you probably would have put him out with that performance, man.
So this song got them a little money, and now they got their DJ Rick Rubin working with them. And Rick Rubin and fellow New York University student Russell Simmons decided to get together and start a record label called Def Jam.
Def Jam, also something that is prevalent today.
It's the birth of hip hop. All of this is experimental at this time in 1984. So no one knows what they're doing. And they're all just trying to put out stuff that, just makes people move and dance and really hit in the clubs. And, you got the 808 machine. Nothing's going to stop you.
Yeah, that's like a Roomba. It does the work for you.
Well, you got to know how to manipulate it. And apparently, as the Beastie Boys say, Rick Rubin knew what he was doing. They said that he was the first one they ever saw making music with a computer. That was big to them. That intimidated them. They were like, wow, he's got a computer and an 808. And he was also a huge part of shaping the Beastie Boys sound and probably look and everything, really. These were young kids. He was a couple years older than they were. As the Beastie Boys say at that time, they were just trying to be like Run DMC. Run DMC was on Def Jam Records. So once the Beastie Boys signed with Def Jam Records, they started hanging out with Run DMC and writing and, making music together with fucking Run DMC, dude. How fucking cool is that?
I remember seeing the montage of all the posters and everything with the two groups together, It's fascinating.
They started recording their first album being signed with Def Jam Records. They started pumping out songs, dude. That's when they came out with Hold It Now, Hit It, which is my personal favorite Beastie Boys song. They also came out with Paul Revere. Dude, if you listen to that beat, the beat is actually played backwards. They made a beat on the 808 and then they recorded it backwards. That foop doop
really
doop doop foop doop 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 foop doop doop.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I achieved the same effect with putting a reverb tail on it and then flipping just that part of it. That's crazy because that makes sense in the time frame to have to just flip the track to get that effect.
No one ever did that with the 808 before, so that was even kind of a little revolutionary. Back in 1984, there wasn't SoundCloud. There wasn't the internet, so you can just release a song on the internet. To get your song heard, it was either the radio or you had to go tour. So they went on tour with Run DMC, LL Cool J, a couple other artists, and just basically busted ass on tour and just was doing these 3 or 4 songs that they had over and over again, just trying to get popular and stuff. And they kind of got big off that. And that's when they released their first album, Licensed to Ill, in 1986.
I mean, I'm sure people who's never even really listened to much of the Beastie Boys or don't know anything about them, Licensed to Ill, I'm sure rings a bell. One aspect or another.
It was definitely, I think, the best of the old school Beastie Boys albums.
As we get into it, I would sure that they would say that maybe it was too good.
The whole album is sick, dude. It's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Brass Monkey.
That funky monkey.
Yep. They hit it pretty big with that album. Rolling Stone magazine headline calls it 3 Idiots Create a Masterpiece.
Thanks, Rolling Stone.
License to Ill became one of the best-selling rap albums of the 1980s and the first rap album to go #1 on the Billboard 200 chart.
That's insane.
It was Def Jam's fastest-selling debut record to date and sold over 9 million copies. So the 4th single on this awesome album was You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party. You remember this song?
I do. I actually watched it 10 times maybe in the last 2 weeks.
I've probably seen it in my life about 3 million times, this music video, because they played it every other 5 minutes on MTV in the 80s.
The next album that they came out with, thinking was going to be even bigger than License to Ill, flopped.
So they left Def Jam because they wanted more control of their music, right? And then they go and sign with Capitol Records. And, Capitol Records gives them this huge money advance. And they go fucking, rent this house up in the hills and kick it for like months and kind of change their style. Dude, they didn't come out with their next album, Paul's Boutique, until 1989. So they got this whole new experimental sound that they're trying. They're actually playing instruments now. They're not just using the 808. They're playing guitar and bass and drums. And they got a new set of producers, the Dust Brothers. And
That's
these
right.
guys are famous for like electronic house music, sick, just beat, just like acid fucking dance, whatever you call it.
Yeah, it's like a revamp almost. They're revamping as they keep going, and it's like, oh, are they becoming something else now?
Not only did they grow as musicians and they evolved as people and they grew up and matured, and so did their music. You know what I mean? And kind of
Absolutely.
so did their fans. If you were a fan of the Beastie Boys when you were younger, you were like them, could identify, and you were that party guy, and you were, fuck girls, and, like, dude, party all the time, fight for your right and shit.
Yeah.
And then you grew up, right? You had to get a job. You had to buy a tie. You had to get a suit. And you had to fucking make money and whatever. Right?
Yeah, you start seeing the world from a different aspect. Yeah.
They released a bunch of albums throughout their musical adventure. And, all of them, like you said, had a little bit of edge and a little bit of, what was going on in the current moment. They kind of like bounced in and out of popularity throughout their years. It seemed like they would go a couple of years without releasing an album and you'd almost forget about the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
And then they would come out with an album and a couple bangers on the album and you'd be like, oh, here they go again.
Yeah. One thing's for sure is their energy was always through the roof.
If you ever seen a music video by the Beastie Boys, throughout the years, they're all the same. They're all shot in that fisheye lens. Those three walking at the camera. It looks cool, and they've created that style. They almost like no one else can do that because they do that so well.
It would look as if they were biting their style completely, trying to copy them to manufacture success. They cornered it.
May of 2009, it was announced during an interview on the Jimmy Fallon show that their new album, Hot Sauce Committee, was supposed to be released. I hear a bunch of like things happened with that. Like they had like two parts. They recorded so much music that they had two parts of it. And then they said on their website that they were going to release part 2, that they were still working on part 1, but part 2 was going to come out. And then they released like a week later that part 2 was still going to come out, but it was going to include all the stuff that was on part 1 or something to that effect. It's really strange, dude.
Sounds like a riddle.
I don't know if it was like, a marketing ploy to just get people really interested in what the hell they're talking about or when their albums were going to be released, It
was a way to kind of test the waters and see if they could gain more attention to it with maybe a little bit more confusion of what was going on. There was a DJ that they were using. His name was DJ Hurricane. And it was funny. I was watching him on one of the documentaries and he's saying Ad Rock was his favorite Beastie Boy out of the three. I found it funny because he goes, because he's cool and I'm cool.
So in 2009, this is now like almost 30 years of the Beastie Boys have been in the music game and, doing it, right? Just fucking pumping out music, movies, the coolest music videos, keeping MTV still going for years. And now Adam Yauch, better known as MCA, announced on their YouTube channel that like a bunch of cancellations of their tour dates and the postponement of their new album because he discovered a cancerous tumor in his parotid gland. He was the music genius behind the group. Anything musically creative that they did, I think, was because of Yauch. He, was the experimental. He was the one pushing the boundaries and, really saying, we can do this when the other two guys were like, okay, whatever, we'll go along for the ride.
Wanted to have his hand in everything and push it forward. definitely showed his weight throughout the years with the guys.
It was on May 4th, 2012 is when he died from cancer at the age of 47. Mike D told Rolling Stone that the Beastie Boys have recorded new music in the late 2011, but they did not say if these recordings would ever be released. And they also claimed that after Yauch died, that they would never record music and release music under the Beastie Boys name ever again. So that was like the day the Beastie Boys died.
It's sad, but I respect the choice because it's not the Beastie Boys anymore.
You can't be like Queen and just replace him with Adam Lambert. Later in life, the Beastie Boys apologized for some of their song lyrics. Like the song Girls from, I believe it's the License to Ill album. Do you remember that song?
I do.
Talking about girls in the kitchen, girls in the bathroom, girls everywhere. Girls, you know, they like girls.
Oh, so much. And they appreciate them.
You know, and they were also young and dumb and full of cum.
Totally.
And so they basically wrote like that too, like frat boys in college. You know, they did a lot of rapping about what they know, and they knew girls.
He said they did, but the way that they were talking, it sounded like they didn't know any girls.
Dude, they use so many samples from different artists and different songs, and, you know, from all over the map, from rock to rap to everywhere. They were sampling and layering all these things together and creating a sound that wasn't heard at the time. And even throughout their whole career, they changed their music, like you said, and evolved with the times. Their later stuff, they really got into really electronic, intergalactic.
Absolutely.
And, you know, they're going hard rock with Sabotage, and they're like all over the spectrum. But lyrically, like you said, they're still rapping about the stupid things that they rapped about when they were 17. They were kind of smart dudes. They were not the college frat boys
Absolutely.
that they portrayed, you know?
Yeah.
So it was almost like a tongue-in-cheek.
By all means, I mean, you just said Adam. Sorry again. What's
MCA? Adam Yauch.
The guy was a Buddhist, right? That completely contradicts everything that he he would go on stage and do. Not his life choices by any means, but you know his persona. So by all means, yeah, these guys knew the benefit when they were in the limelight, what it was to be outlandish and be larger than life, and you know be these obnoxious kids, and when it was necessary. It obviously worked. It's crazy to think because you almost think, man, there has to be a science. There has to be like the brains behind the operation that did the numbers that made this happen.
Dude, their lyrics are so basic. Like my 8-year-old could write these lyrics. They're so simple.
Oh,
I bet you we could write a song in the style of the Beastie Boys and like make a hip hop song, and it could work. It would go viral if we did that.
Okay.
I
don't know if it will go viral. I think it would be very good. I think we could definitely achieve it within the constraints of time. But the thing is that there already is Beastie Boys. No one's going to buy our stuff because we decided to piggyback off the Beastie Boys. You know?
Right. No, that's true.
But we could definitely make something entertaining between me and you.
We totally could, right? Beastie Boys have a bunch of things that they rap about in their songs. We would definitely have to put them in our songs if we were going to make a Beastie Boys song. Let's think of a list of things that maybe you hear in a Beastie Boys song that we have to put in our song.
Electric guitar.
Electric guitar, yes. Some jamming. And it just has to be like a 2-chord riff.
Just to incorporate that punk rock aspect to it, you know?
Just to remind you that we're punk rock.
Well, the thing is their delivery of the lyrics is also punk rock.
It is kind of.
Because it's obnoxious. They're just like almost talking slightly almost over each other.
Right, and they're yelling too. They're yelling into the mic.
Yeah, you would almost think that they were trying to order McDonald's into a drive-through window that's got hit by the car in front of them. Yeah, they come with that energy, and that's also the punk rock aspect, so you have to have that.
All right.
Also, you would have to have that 808. The 808 drum is, if you don't have it, you're not doing this.
Yeah, we already discussed 808.
And depending on where you're trying to emulate them in life, it depends on the synthesizers, the more of electronic sound. But the lyrics are the key. Even though we say how simple it is, there are key elements to the formula. And I'm sure you know, you have a few, I'm guessing. You have to allude to girls constantly.
Right. You have to talk about beer, partying, and getting drunk.
You have to also mention your name or someone else in the group. Mention your name 86 times. a song.
Literally every other line is MCA,
Yeah.
Mike D. What about
But,
record scratches and samples?
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
you got to have
Sound
samples
effects,
on top of samples
totally.
on top of samples.
Yeah, that's the one thing you can't do. You can't do anymore. We wouldn't be able to be profitable in this day and age doing what they did. They got to slip through the cracks because samples weren't what they were.
Right.
It wouldn't happen. Not this day and age.
Right. What you do is you distort the sample so much that it's not even the sample anymore.
I mean, but at that point, you could just make something that sounds so distorted that if it was undistorted, you would think it would be that.
Well,
But where's the line? It's so hard because there's some people that they take just the littlest bit and they say, no, that you stepped upon copyright. But that's a whole nother topic. If we were making this in that time frame when these guys were coming out with these songs, totally. Sampling would be number one next to lyrics. But we can come close. Absolutely. And I think we should.
we need to scratch the shit out of it, right? Record scratch, record scratch, record scratch.
It would be easier for us because we probably wouldn't be doing that in real time. We just load up sound effects from a library. So it does have benefits for the equipment we have today as opposed to,
You mean we're not going to make our song on the Roland TR 808?
We are going to. Winkety winkety.
Of course we're. Dude, this is going to be fun. I can't wait to make this song. Is there anything else we need?
Do you know Rick Rubin?
Oh, shit, we need Rick Rubin.
Well, it'd be nice.
I mean, I do know some music producers in the industry, but I don't know Rick Rubin.
Oh, yeah. I know Dick Cuban.
He'll do.
Yeah, well, let's try this out.
Cool. Awesome. Shit, we're actually going to make a Beastie Boys type song. First, can I let the Evos know that I am not a musician? You're the musician. You can rap better than anybody I know. And I mean, even better than the Beastie Boys. So, yeah, so you are skilled in the music arts. And not so much. This might be maybe my first, if not second, time ever singing into a microphone. So I'm kind of nervous about this.
You have, like, the first true tracks I think we did for our first episode. You killed it, man. You brought the energy, real live. If I was creating the Beastie Boys, I would have you definitely in it, man. So don't sell yourself short. Do know that I will be asking to be part of helping with the next film that you have, whether that means that I'm going to be the director. But no, seriously, man, for somebody who's not somebody who's been practicing music, dude, you got some skills and they're about to see it.
Oh, thanks for the build up. Now I really got to lay down the tracks. Beastie Boy style.
And you're gonna.
All right, let's get into it. Are you ready for this, Evos? It is the premiere of the Rich and Will evolution of a podcast, Beastie Boys song, Funky Rhyme. Now coming through with the style so fresh. My name is Rich S, but you can call me the best. All the fly ladies let me feel in the chest. Can't school me on the mic, cause I passed the test.
Oh, hold up a sec, time to make my grand entrance. Name Will the way, and that way is demented. Sorry, not sorry, your girl is all on me. Moment she saw me, as expected.
Yes, my slick rhymes can't be simulated. Some call me Rich S, but you can call me the greatest.
And all of you haters are jealous, I hate it. Life's a bitch, ain't it? Must be related.
When I'm on the mic, you know I'm gonna get faded. Get hype off the funky side created. Hit that funky rhyme. Gonna get in right on time. Grab a little girlie and Corona and lime. Get on stage and drop that dime. Rhyme. the club about 8:45. Fans rush the limo, cause they know who arrived. No way to get out or get inside. Hop on the sunroof and start kicking it live.
Drink a little bit of that devil's liquid. Get a little wild without the mischief. Prefer ballistic and risky business. Vodka, Red Bull, Coke, whiskey mixtures. Empty glasses all smeared with lipstick. Wiggle them assets, gift wrap delivered. Rich picks a dime, I pick 2 6s. Cause they're sisters who practice kissing. Cause they're sisters who practice kissing.
Well, are we not fucking rappers or what now?
Are
dude?
you guys not impressed?
Seriously, we fucking dropped some bars. The ladies love us now. We're hopping out limos.
All the fly honeys.
And hitting the stage, right? We killed it. We killed it.
We did that while we were quarantined, bro. So imagine what we can do once they release The Beast.
Right. We had to record our audio from our separate houses, and I sent my audio to you, and you worked fucking magic, dude.
Well, I was watching a movie while I was doing it. So
That's
how
how
I
you
get
know
down.
a true expert.
need a little bit of a challenge.
You're like an octopus. You can do like 10 things.
You were born for ruckus, man.
Well, see, now I have this inner debate of whether I want to be a rap star at 40 or do I want to never record a rap song ever again?
Well, I bet that it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Like, it's not going to be those drastic ones. I would love to see number one happen. I would also like for you to get a back tattoo of the Loch Ness Monster, but I don't know if you're going to do that either.
Exactly. Cool. Let's wrap up our Beastie Boys influencers episode. We had fun, right?
Dude, yeah, I wish we started with this for the episode because, like, I got so much energy now that we played that.
Yeah, we're pumped. We're hyped, as they said in the 80s and 90s.
And the music of today, evidently.
Some people
According
say
to us.
Yeah, our music says that. Not only did the Beastie Boys influence us to create that awesome song that our Evos just heard, but they influenced a lot of people in the music industry. Can you think of any?
Yeah, like probably Phil Collins.
They influenced Phil Collins to use the 808 machine.
Phil never used 808, actually.
Yeah, he did. He was one of the first.
Just kidding.
He was actually one of the first pop stars to use the 808. Weird coming from a drummer, too, to fall in love with such a 808 machine.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, I fell in love with the robot that replaced me at work.
Like Limp Bizkit. You know Limp Bizkit.
Chocolate.
Listen to some fucking Beastie
chocolate.
Boys, dude.
Starfish, man. Hot dog flavored water.
Yeah, all right, let's get out of here. This is a good episode. We had fun. We'll see you guys next time, right?
Hey, let's get onto the floor and drop that dime.
You mean the funky rhyme?
Yeah, hit that. Hit that one more time.
You know people are going back, rewinding, and listening to that song again.
Well, I hope so. I mean, that's usually why you make a song. No one's going, man, you know what? I'm glad I listened to that just once. It was good. It was good. So I don't want to spoil it, you know? I just don't want it's one of every great while you listen to it. I hope it catches traction, and I hope people forget the Beastie Boys and they think that we started that kind of music. You know?
Right. We're the Beastie Boys of a new generation.
Well, hey, guess what? That's another great episode given to you by none other than Rich and Willie. Sleep well.
If you're not evolving, you're dissolving.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.